Hi, Scorpio Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2025 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So, I'm going to be talking about a few transits that are occurring in November because I'm recording this in November, and some of these are current, or at least one of them is, and a couple are going to be coming up, and a lot of you will be listening in November. And the one transit that I was going to just really focus on was Venus going into Sagittarius on November 30th, because that's almost into December. But it's worth pointing out a couple of other transits in Sagittarius, and this is your second house of earned income. So it's a very important house. It's not one of the angular houses. When you learn about astrology, they tell you the first and the fourth and the seventh houses and the 10th houses are very important houses. Well, I think the house of earned income is very important. So I'm recording this on 11/11, and Mars is already in Sagittarius at this time. And the second house of earned income, for Mars to be there, is this sense of urgency about making money, this physical capacity to work hard to earn money. Just a lot of energy generated to do it. And so this is going to continue through mid-December, like I said. And on the 21st, I believe it is, the sun goes into Sagittarius as well. And that just gives your general focus on financial affairs. And then on the 30th, Venus goes there. Now, the significance of Venus in the second house is that Venus rules that house in astrology under the sign of Taurus. So Venus specializes in second house matters. And this can be a great time to attract money into your life for the next few weeks. And so that's how we're going into the month of December. On December 4th, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Gemini. So Gemini is the opposite sign of Sagittarius. And in your particular chart, Gemini rules the 8th house, which you rule in astrology, Scorpio. So this is another money house, but this is shared resources or other people's money. Full moon here could bring that money into your awareness, or it could be exposed if there's a cover-up, if somebody has been trying to hide some money from you. Like, for instance, you're getting divorced and you find out that your soon-to-be ex has more assets than they let on to have. Or your siblings, maybe there was some kind of a will and you were told one thing and you find out another. But the 8th house is also about personal transformation. So this could be, a time when you're willing to dig deep within yourself and do that shadow work, or maybe it comes up for you, something that you've repressed, connected to your own psyche, connected to your own emotional repression, or something along those lines. A secret could come out in general at that time. And on the 10th, Neptune goes direct at 29 degrees of Pisces, which is a fellow water sign, so it trines you. That is the friendliest and most cooperative of angles, and it's coming from your 5th house. So Scorpios have had Neptune in their 5th house for many years, and recently Neptune went into Aries, as did Saturn. So that may have resulted in certain Scorpio people, like having, when Neptune went retrograde, they may have had some sort of disillusionment as it pertains to love. Maybe somebody that they had fallen in love with, they found out had deceived them, and they felt very let down by that information. Now that Neptune's direct, you're able to still believe in love. This is the house of love and creativity, the fifth house. And even with creative projects, you might have thought you were creating something that was so brilliant, and then in the light of day, you're like, oh, this sucks. And you're just tempted to throw it all away. When somebody gets disillusioned, sometimes they just go from one extreme to the other. Well, love is, what's love got to do with it? Or I'm no good creatively, instead of saying this particular situation wasn't good. So now that Neptune's direct, you may feel more hopeful. And you do have Saturn here too, to make you more realistic, more grounded, and more disciplined to achieve your goals. On the 11th, the next day, Mercury goes into Sag. I should say Mercury goes back into Sag, because that's where the retrograde began. And we're nearing the end of the post-Mercury retrograde shadow. And that will happen on the 17th. So this again, is that second house is already loaded, and now you have Mercury there to join the party of your finances. And that just can make you have your mind on your money and your money on your mind. On the 15th, Mars goes into Capricorn, friendly angle, third house, and now your efforts, I could say focus, but it's really on an energetic level, on a what you are really pouring your energy into is connected with communication. This is the social media sector where we get our news. It could be the traditional media. It can be teaching something, learning something. So there may be some activation in either one of those areas. It's also your siblings, your brothers and sisters, or aunts, uncles, cousins. So you may be spending more time with them for some reason. It might be even a bit of a conflict for some people because Mars can be contentious. On the 19th, we have a new moon at 28 degrees of Sagittarius in this house of earned income. So there could be new developments there. Set intentions for what you want to manifest in the cycle from new moon to new moon, and also just for the next 12 months. Until you have the next new moon in Sagittarius, or until you have the full moon in Gemini in about 6 months. By the way, talking about Mars in the third house, if there is some kind of shared resources that have to do with your family, like an inheritance, that can lead sometimes to conflict, or at the very least, increased activity. So that could explain Mars in the third house too. On the 21st, the Sun goes into Capricorn, and 3 days later, Venus goes into Capricorn. So Capricorn, again, that house of the mundane mind, your mind in general, the way that you communicate and online endeavors. Venus here could be that you make money from those endeavors. With the Sun here, you may be aspiring to do something, maybe even professionally, in teaching and writing and things that are Gemini-esque. Could be like selling things, who knows. So, yeah, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that this resonates and that you're looking forward to the last month in 2025. If you are interested in looking at 2026, I do transit readings on demand. I always say for the next 12 months. Well, at this particular time, it would be for 2026. And I would throw in December if you're listening in November, because it's almost at the end of the year, right? And I also have chart analysis, and I have one that combines those two readings that are at least an hour in length for each of those readings, called my deep dive readings, and those are at a special price because you're buying two at once. And I have, career readings, love readings, tarot readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.